Good day. Today's presentation, titled The Role of Pharmacists in Politics and Decision Making, Changing the Narrative, was delivered by me at the Young Pharmacists in Professional Excellence on Saturday, 3rd December 2022. The central focus of discussion within this presentation are three. We will want to talk about politics, governance and decision making, as well as public service, unions and professional associations. Then we will also delve into behavioral change approach for progressive impact. These are the thematic areas that we will focus on in this presentation. It is important, once again, to highlight why politics and decision making within the context of this presentation. The truth remains that irrespective of your career as a prospective visionary and patriotic citizen of Nigeria and any other country, it's good you know and participate in the affairs of your country for positive nation building. After all, it is known that we actually defer to God, love for country, then family. The need to have a glimpse on bureaucratic nature of government in Nigeria and also illustrate the simplest link easily available to pharmacists to interact and tap from such structure. Another reason why we are having this conversation is, as it happens in United Kingdom and many other countries of the world, prospective leaders are exposed to a course called PPE, that is Philosophy, Politics and Economy. In Nigeria, we have a similar arrangement for technocrats, the MNI, that is member of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS. Two levels of governance are being looked at: public service and professional associations. Let's focus now on public service, unions and professional associations. Thereafter, we'll go on to the governance structure in the the country. What is public service? It is important to note that public service means service of the Federation in any capacity in respect of the government of the Federation. It's the same thing when it is the government of federal, state or local government. Is still the same federation, because the Federation of Federal Republic of Nigeria composed of three tiers of government. That's federal, state and local government. Whereas civil service means service of the Federation in a civil capacity as staff of the office of the President, the Vice President, a ministry or department of the government of the Federation assigned with the responsibility for any business of government of the Federation. Practically, therefore, the entire organizations which constitute government's mechanism for executing policies, programs and projects and delivering services which adequately meet the needs of the citizenry are called public service. Mathematically, we can say public service equals civil service plus X. What is that X? That X is either elective or appointed political office holders, armed and uniformed personnel, etc. So this clearly tells you public service does not equate civil service, because you have civil servants in public service, and public service connotes civil servants and all other category of appointees and elective office holders. Armed personnel, the military, the police, the DSS, all of them are public servants. Let's now look at union, because it is important to note that in as much as we have discussed what public service is that relates to government, we also have unions. What are unions? A union is an assembly, society, or association formed by people with a common interest or purpose. A workers' union or a trade union to preserve the rights and welfare of workers is an organized enterprise. Most importantly to note in this definition, unions are so designated and registered by the Trade Union Department under the Federal Ministry of Federal Ministry of Labor and Productivity or Employment, as the case may be. Then professional association. What is a professional association? A professional association, also called a professional body, a professional society, is usually a non-for-profit organization seeking to further a particular profession, the interests of individuals engaged in that profession, and the public interest. Within the realm of pharmacists, the example of professional association in the pharmacy profession are PSN, which is the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. You have AHAP, that's the Association of Hospital and Administrative Pharmacists of Nigeria. You have ACPN, the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria. You have NAIP, that's the Association of Industrial Pharmacists. You have NAPA, the Association of Pharmacists in Academia. And you have ALPS, which is an interest group Association of Lady Pharmacists. Also, we have the fellows of the West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists coming together to form association into zones and Nigeria chapter. Let's come back to government business. It's important within the context of understanding why pharmacists, what is the role of pharmacists in politics and governance and decision making, we need to understand government business. The 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, provides that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. That is to say, whatever government needs to do, the first priority for coming to being is to provide the security and welfare of the people. Then let's look at the structure of governance. We have 3 tiers of government: the federal, state, and local government. We also have at each level 3 arms, that is executive, legislature, and judiciary. It's only the local government that does not have the judiciary arm at that tier. The executive arm is usually headed in Nigeria by a president and a commander-in-chief of the armed forces, who is the #1 citizen. Then the legislative arm is headed by a chairman of the National Assembly, who happens to be the Senate president. But because Nigeria operates a bicameral system of legislature, we also have the vice chairman of the National Assembly, who happens to be the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The next arm is the judicial arm, which is headed by the Chief Justice of the Federation. The concept of behavioral change is important to understand that 4 steps are needed to bring about behavior change of pharmacists towards participation in governance-related engagement, be it politics at public service level or at union level or at the professional association level. What are those steps of interest? The behavioral change approach stipulates these 4 steps. The first one is contemplation, acknowledging that there is a problem. And indeed, you will agree with me, there is no pharmacist that will not understand or agree that there are numerous challenges that are bedeviling the practice of pharmacy in Nigeria at all levels and at all practice settings. Then once you have that contemplation and you acknowledge that there is a problem, the next step is the preparation and determination, getting ready to change. Then what do you do to remedy the situation? After that step is the action and willpower, the changing behavior, the social action plan, the ability to get involved and do the necessary things that have to reverse the ugly trend. Then the last step of the behavioral change approach is the maintenance, maintaining the behavior change to sustain, because it's not actually productive or progressive after having the willpower change behavior, then you now relapse and go back to status quo. So the relevance of public service to pharmacy practice. Let's take them one after the other. What are those areas that make public service to be so relevant in pharmacy practice? Professional representation and presence in government circle. It is key to have pharmacists that are at different level of decision making in governance, at bureaucratic level of public service, from directors to permanent secretaries, heads of agencies as director generals, ministers, ambassadors, and so on, asserting and expressing distinct professional expertise. That's another important. We have a lot to offer in public service because as professionals, pharmacists, we have numerous skills and we have acquired a lot of knowledge that we need to add value to what is being done at managerial and entrepreneurial level. The last and important aspect, but not the least, is carving and securing high profile prospects in senior governmental positions such as I mentioned, directors at different levels in the ministries, then director generals, executive secretaries, permanent secretary, chairman of governing boards, ambassadors, ministers, heads of service, secretary to the government, and governors and presidents. The next important area why pharmacists need to participate in unions and professional associations that will impact on pharmacy practice are as enunciated. It is important to note that pharmacists can play a role in improving standards of practice and client satisfaction. It is when you have that understanding that you have a role to play in improving standards that you will make yourself available. Ensuring adequate welfare and remuneration of members. Only pharmacists that know they actually know their onions have the ability to be relevant and also drive through these changes that will improve the lots of members. Protecting and defending the rights and privileges of members. It is when you have your own that you can speak up and advance the rights of your members. Ensuring the survival and safeguarding the future of the profession. It is important to note that it's only when you have your own that can put things at that level of policy making to ring fence your rights and territories, and as much as possible continue to advance collaborative nature and networking, not to allow hawks and every Tom, Dick, and Harry to come and take over what is due for pharmacists in terms of service delivery and functions. Examples are in the formation of NIPRD, that is National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, and NAFDAC. All these are creations of engagement and years of advocacy of professional associations that led to this formation. Relationship between professional association and public service. Indeed, I must say here that there is a perceived causal relationship between performance of staff that are active in professional associations and effective public service delivery. Proficiency in articulation of rights and privileges, and also advancing advocacy and diplomacy to get similarly difficult things done at all levels. This is an anecdotal experience that most of the high flyers in professional service delivery, you will see that they have above average understanding of unionism and also participation and making themselves available in voluntary capacity to lead associations. And when they become leaders in departments and in agencies and in public service, you will see that capacity being developed over years exhibited. This is not the case with others that have been naive and also very docile in professional associations. When they get opportunities, you will see that docility manifesting in their roles, even if they have leadership opportunities. Role of pharmacists in politics and decision making. Indeed, pharmacist, as a 9-star pharmacist, you will not take it away that he is a pharmacist is a decision maker. He is a leader. Professional ethics and integrity are already embedded in a pharmacist that shows these 9-star attributes and functions. Broad-mindedness and versatility. Pharmacist that embodies the 9-star concept has broad-mindedness, and he can delve into a lot of activities to add value to whatever he's doing. Innovativeness and adaptability all speak to what pharmacists bring to table when they are at decision-making level. What are the challenges? There are challenges in pharmacists' engagement, or rather participation in politics, governance, and decision making. The major challenge that we see is lukewarm attitude of pharmacists to participate in professional associations. Most often, pharmacists are more into armchair critics of scenarios than being proactive to lead in providing solution, and also leading from the front to take the conversation, meet the relevant policy makers at whatever level to resolve issues. Frustration of pharmacists due to stagnation in career progression. This has been recurring in many facilities, in hospitals, in agencies of government, where they are not allowed to rise to the peak of their career. Non-representation of pharmacists at directorate level cadre, that is the grade level 17 cadre, PAMSECs and headship of agencies, so where they gather to fine-tune policy making processes. You will see the views, perspectives, and opinion of pharmacists and pharmacy profession are non-clearly visible. As a way forward, conscious and deliberate effort to actively participate in unions, professional associations, and ultimately partisan politics is the way to go. Without participating in professional associations and unions, how will you be able to summon the courage and the boldness to make yourself available for partisan politics positions? Delving into other complementary fields of knowledge with a view to diversifying our prospects and improving capacity, such as developmental studies, pharmaceutical sociology, health sociology, management and policy studies, as well as diplomacy and senior executive courses. Pharmacists need to look up to that capacity building. Pharmacists must break out of their shells and take their rightful leadership place in the healthcare industry and high-ranking government appointments. Strategic engagement at all levels through sustained advocacy and diplomacy. This cannot be overemphasized. As a conclusion, the ball is in your court, being at the baseline of professional pharmacist cadre. Young pharmacists, you can either improve the status quo or maintain it. The sky is your starting point. Thank you for listening. Take out time to look at the previous videos, subscribe to my YouTube, like and share. Thank you and God bless.